So why don't we get into it? Just maybe give us a bit of a backstory on Drew and your Instagram page operations.
100%. Yeah, so I started Instagram actually when I was a kid, and I played lacrosse in middle school. And so we would dye lacrosse mesh with RIT dye. And so I'd always been like entrepreneurial. And I started dyeing socks with the RIT dye. You may remember this. And so I had a custom sock company. And back then you could buy shout outs off of like House of Highlights. I don't even think Best Celebrations or Hurdles existed yet, but you buy shout outs off of these really, really big Instagram accounts. And so I would buy shout outs off of them. I believe House of Highlights was like $200 back then, and he had like 4 pages. So I would buy off of him, and the sales were ridiculous. And so my neighbor was supposed to be in charge of the order fulfillment. And then I was supposed to be in charge of the running of the advertising. So I got addicted to House of Highlights shout out equals like ding, 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 Shopify notifications. And I just kept going and going and going and going. And our page got bigger and bigger. But after a while, it got to the point where we just had too many orders and I couldn't keep up with this. So kind of shut down, and I was like, you know what, this is kind of gay. Like, I'd way rather just be the guy that is selling the ads that doesn't have to deal with like order fulfillment and having my mom bring all the socks to the fucking post office when I'm a freshman in high school. And so I decided to start an Instagram account, and I started an account called Athletes Reading Mean Tweets. And I bought posts off of like House of Highlights again, which ripped. At this point, there was like greatest celebrations, best celebrations. There was a bunch of big sports pages. So I bought off of them. I got to like 50,000 followers. And then back then, that was where you could start like SFS. So like cross promoting. So if someone else had a sports account of similar size, I'd send my video and caption. They'd send their video and caption, and it was on Kick. And I basically grinded that account all the way up to like 2.4 million followers. I got a cease and desist from Disney at like 700K. And so I had to switch the theme of the page from Athletes Reading Mean Tweets to Sports Laughters. And then I took Sports Laughters to like 1.8 mil, I believe, and then I converted it again to Athletes Fact. And so I ended up selling this page called Athletes Fact to a guy named Brandon Johnson, I believe is his last name, at like 2.4 million followers for 50K. And so my mom had to drive me to the airport because I couldn't drive yet. And he later then converted that page into Playmaker. And he sold that page along with a podcast and some other stuff attached to it for $54 million to Better Collective, which is fucking crazy. Better Collective is like a massive conglomerate. They bought a ton of stuff. So I sold that one. This is, I would have been 15. So this is like 2014. This is really early. So yeah. So I sold that page. And then because that was right when, so back then the feed was reverse chronological order. And so Instagram announced that they were changing it to an algorithm based feed. So like the sky was fucking falling. So I panic sold Instagram, which I should not have done. Sold my page, and then they switched the feed, and then I realized like, oh fuck, this is perfectly fine. So then I grew another page called AT Fact. Like at Fact. I got this one to 1 million followers, and then I got fucking hacked, which blew cock. Like it was awful. And so at this point I was 16 years old. So then I was like, all right, dude, fuck it. I'm not going down this easy. I'm going to grow another page. So this one I called Learn Fact, and my ad sets were just good. And this one fucking ripped. Like I was buying posts, and I remember I had, so it was like satisfying videos of like how a lock works or surgery animations, like things like that, back before people were really using these. And for whatever reason, they just gained a shit ton of followers. So I remember the first day that I was buying posts, I gained like 50,000 followers. And I knew that I had a winner here. So I just grinded that page all the way up to 6.3 million. And like there was different seasons. Like there was like live boosting came out. So the way that the algorithm feed worked was if a post got a ton of comments right away, because the feed was not very sophisticated, it would basically boost your post to like the top of feed. So we would go live, and I'd be doing this during school, and you'd have like your phone and then your iPad. And so you'd be like recording with your phone, the iPad would be here, and it'd be like, I'm following back the first 20 people that comment pizza letter by letter. And the post would get like 500 comments in like 2 seconds. And as a result of that, everyone's SFS would get way more views. So the first day that this was out, I gained, I believe, 125,000 followers in a day.
Wow.
And yeah, dude, it was crazy. And so then there was a ton of metas like that, like comment slides came out. So Instagram added the ability, like before it was like you could only have a video or just a picture, but they added that you could have slides after. So people would run like their video, and then it'd be like comment dog letter by letter for good luck, for example. But everyone would do it. And so then these posts would get like a sustained boost, because then everyone that's seeing them, like they're still commenting over 24 hours versus you're only getting the comments in the first 10 minutes when you're live. And I remember the first day that came out, I believe I gained like 80,000 followers. But long story short, I gained that account to 6.4 million followers. I was in college very briefly. I was about to sell the page for 150K a couple months prior. And then I had this dude text me who was representing a guy named Sergey Grishin, who was buying up a ton of Instagram accounts. And I had one of the biggest at the time. And he texted me and he was like, hey, I'm interested in buying this account, yada, yada, yada. And so I didn't really think it was serious, because this dude hadn't bought any accounts yet. Like the guy that was representing him, his name was Michael. And I was like, I don't know, it seems kind of odd. So I was just fucking around. I was like 750K. And he was like, okay, like I think that we can do 600. And I was like, what? And so I got on the phone with them, and they were like dead ass fucking serious. And this dude, Sergey Grishin, was a Russian oligarch with like stupid money. And so I talked to them for a while. We kind of went back and forth negotiating. We landed on 500K, but our attorneys couldn't agree on the contract. So I remember I was fishing on a paddle boat, and I called the Michael dude, and I was like, yo, like we just need to make this happen. I'll fly down to Florida where you are tomorrow, and we're going to do no contract. I'll give you the page in person, and you will give me a certified check in person at the bank. And he's like, fuck it. And so I hadn't really prepared, because I didn't know if there was flights even tomorrow. So I looked, and there was a Spirit Airlines flight in the morning. So flew down to Florida, got the certified check, 500K. That was like one of the most surreal days of my life. Because at this point, like I'd probably make like $1,000 a day selling ads, but it's hard to hold on to money if you don't like exit something. And so at that point I was like, damn, like my childhood here of grinding this is sort of fulfilled here. And so I got that check. A meaningful moment though, he asked me who else he should hit up in order to buy pages, because he just liked mine the best, and mine was one of the first pages that he bought. And so this guy named Richard Hughes had been nice to me when I'd gone out to LA as a kid. So I was like, yo, you should buy Richard's pages. And so we ended up buying Richard's pages. I'm not going to like dox the amount, but for like a lot more than mine. Wow. Because Richard had a lot bigger. Richard was like the Don of Instagram back then. I'll give props to Richard. And so then fast forward, I then grew another page immediately called LearnGram. I got that to like 3.3 mil. I ended up selling that to Richard for a few $100,000, like a little over a few $100,000. What he didn't know is that I had another page that I was growing at the same time as that one called Time Perfection, which I then gained like 500,000 followers in a week super quickly. It kind of pissed him off. So then he bought that one too for a couple $100,000 this time. Wow. And then I sold that one like kind of with the narrative that I was going to like retire from Instagram a little bit. And because he wanted to be like the king of like the learn pages on Instagram, because those used to be popping back then. And so I left for a minute, and then I bought At Learning for like low 5 figures. And obviously At Learning is like way fucking cleaner than At LearnGram. Yeah. So then I got that one to 3.2 million followers, I believe. And then I sold that one for a few $100,000 to Richard too. Jesus. So it was like I recommended that this dude should buy Richard's pages. Richard cashed out like a large amount, but then ended up coming back around and he bought a bunch of my pages.
Yeah.
Which was sick. Yeah, which was fucking sick. And then at that point, like OnlyFans ads kind of came out after that. And so this was like COVID time period. So then I grew like a bunch more pages, but it was harder to gain at that point. So I just get a page to like 1 million or 2 million followers. I believe the largest that I got after that was like 2 million followers. I got a couple pages to like 1.5, 1 to 2. And I would just spam those pages with like OF ads.
Yeah.
The problem with that though is that, so I had a network, I believe, of like 10 million followers. I remember this OnlyFans ad thing came out initially and people were paying like $1,500 for a post on all my pages, like $2,500. And so I was making like $50K a month for like the majority of that first year. And then it was like $40K a month. And then I had to grow more pages to maintain it. And I kind of got stuck in this like jail of, not like jail, because you're very fortunate if you're making like 600K a year, but like 200 to like 600K a year, like jail almost, where you're just making a bunch of money because you have the income from these OF ads and you know how to build more pages, but you don't necessarily know that your skills apply to anything outside of this. And so all I would do is I would just build more pages and then I would just sell more fucking OF ads.
Yeah.
And it's not a good existence because you're not like building a business really. You're kind of just like, it's very good for someone who, like, if you have a 9 to 5, obviously you'd way rather fucking make 500K a year doing this. But as far as like if you want to compete in the arena of entrepreneurship, you're sort of just like in the underworld of it. Like you're not really competing doing that. So I remember at this point I lived in LA. So I moved out of LA. I got an Airbnb in San Diego. It was kind of hard to leave my friends there, but I was like, fuck it, dude. Like my buddies have taken the skills that they learned through running these Instagram pages and they have successfully started agencies with it. So marketing agencies. And I was like, dude, I can do this. And so I locked the fuck in. I didn't drink. Back then I weirdly thought that like oatmeal was like the pinnacle of healthy breakfast. I remember I ate oatmeal like every morning because my whole thing was we're going to remove all outside dopamine. So I would just wake up at this like sort of like, it wasn't like a wellness retreat, but it was pretty sick. I would just wake up, eat my fucking oatmeal, work a bit, go to the gym, come back, work more, like eat dinner, work, go to bed. And I just did this for 2 months. And so I started stacking clients, basically just media buying on Instagram and on Twitter. And I realized that like, okay, I am not this one trick pony that I thought I was, where I could only build Instagram pages. Like I can apply these skills that I've learned as far as like copywriting and as far as what gets people to click, like visually and aesthetically, how do these posts need to look? Because all of these companies have no idea how any of this shit is supposed to look. So I realized that like, okay, I can scale this beyond Instagram. So I started an agency a few years ago. And then I got like into crypto decently early, and I have a pretty big, just word of mouth based marketing agency now that spans across Instagram, Twitter, crypto Twitter, some short form stuff. But yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents. I'm going to stop rambling so that you can get a word in, so that people can ask questions. But that's the gist.
I mean, absolutely insane story. I think it's so crazy how back in the early stages of Instagram, there'd be these updates, and it's like, oh, the new method just dropped, do this, and you gain like a crazy amount in one day. Yeah. And then what you talked about with like going from running pages to the agency to like scaling up and actually becoming like, I guess you could call it like an actual entrepreneur, like, because you kind of start young doing this one thing. I think that resonates with a lot of people. Like for me, it was like social media services, right? And I was selling them for a few years, and it's like, okay, like I know I want to actually build something. Like, what the fuck am I going to build? Like, I remember spending a lot of time just thinking, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then once you're like actually building something, it feels a lot better, and like you just feel more proud.
100%, bro. It's infinitely more gratifying because you're learning too. Like the reason that we all do this is because it's like you get to solve these little problems every day, and like it's frustrating while you're doing it, but then that feeling when something clicks is addicting. And then it's like it clicks and it's good for like a couple days, but then you kind of want a new problem to solve. And just as humans, like that's what you want to do. And so after a while, like if you're just the dude that has like if you're the dude that owns like Photoshop Pranked, for example, and you're just like still doing that like a decade later, like you don't want to be that guy. So
yeah, exactly. Interesting, bro. It's crazy the actual scale of, you know, when you're dedicated and you're consistent and you know what you're doing as well. Like you talked about, you sold a page, you started again. You sold a page, you started again. You just repeated the process. So like, let's say you're in like the 50 to 100 to 200K like area with your theme page on Instagram. Like what would be just some key like bullet points to kind of break free and kind of scale up from there?
In the current climate of Instagram?
Current climate, yeah.
Yeah, so you two things. So you need scale and leverage. And so you need scale in that you need to figure out a system where you're posting like 20 plus times per day, every single day, if this is your full-time gig and you want to go all in on it. And it's a very good full-time gig to get from like 0 to like 500K a year. And so if that's what you're trying to do, you need scale as far as like you need to be able to pump out 20 posts per day at a minimum per account. And so if you have like 5 accounts, then you need to hire VAs or someone to create the content. The second point is that you need leverage. And so you need to be paying attention to what accounts on Instagram are gaining the fastest. How are they formatting their posts? And like, what are these little metas? Because we talked about metas before where like you'd have this staggering stuff where like live boosting would come out or something. It's like super fucking obvious. Now the metas are a lot more subtle. So like the guys that own Meme IG, like Brent and those guys, they own like Meme IG.
Explain.
Yeah, they've sold like some of those pages, but yeah, they have a pretty big network. But you guys have probably seen, or some of you have maybe seen, they recently grew a car account to like 3 million followers, like fast as fuck, like how cars work. So little things like that, like if you know which guys own all of these pages, it's not that hard to see when someone starts a new page because they grow it by collabing with their big pages. And so if you sort of just keep tabs on like, okay, you've got like your Meme IG, you've got your Explain, you've got your Explaining, you've got like all of these guys that own like Photoshop Pranked, for example, even though that account's like lower tier, but you could definitely track that guy to see any new accounts that he's making and copy them. And so like any of these big pages, sort of just watch because there will be metas. So like originally when this short form stuff started to really pop off a few years ago, it'd be like, if only there was a page dedicated to posting the cutest animals in the world, ... And so everyone would just use like the if only meta. And this shit fucking printed. Like it absolutely printed.
And
but so now your job...
Right?
Who did?
Ethan at Tixpost?
Yeah. I'm not giving enough credit. I need to give props to Ethan and Dylan because Ethan and Dylan did largely like invent this meta. But yeah, so it's just a game of like, okay, so if I multiply volume by leverage, what are my results going to be? So I need leverage and that the posts need to be formatted correctly. There's different formats for different niches, but then second, I need volume. So I need a ton of posts. And then the third point would be, are you correctly applying leverage with volume to the right niche? Because if you're gaining an account like Photoshop Pranked is basically worthless. Like Photoshop Pranked has like 3 million followers. And so I keep going back to Photoshop Pranked, but it's kind of just, it's like the pinnacle of trash page. And so that account is probably worth like, I believe it has like 3 million followers, but it's probably worth like, I don't know, like 100K or something. But Playmaker, for example, at 2.5 mil sold for 54 million because it's a sports account that has an OG username that's branded well, that has a podcast and some IP attached to it.
Yeah, there's a whole
And so what is the difference? Yeah, but like what is the difference between those two pages? The difference, first and foremost, like most obviously is niche. Niche is the biggest thing because you could have a sports account that's called like best period sports with a Z, with like 4 Z's dot clips.
Yeah.
even with that trash of a username, if you get that account to 1 million, that account's worth more than Photoshop ranked at like 3 mil. And so I keep saying Photoshop ranked that. Yeah, and you can swap an OG on it, but the niche really matters as well. But I've been rambling here.
No, that's all right. To summarize, like general meme, it's obviously not very like high intent. It's kind of hard to build like a product on the back of it unless you kind of get that like meme.ig / like that Daquan aura. So I guess like if you're thinking niche, like I think facts is good, kind of cars, sports, like kind of those type of science.
My advice as far as niche goes is like super niche. Now, bro, I feel like the meta is to be as niche as possible. Like you could literally do like mechanic clips. You could do like fingernail cutting clips, and it would probably fucking print because they're satisfying clips of like ingrown nails. You could do super niche stuff. Yeah.
I think like the more niche you are, like the quicker you'll grow if you pop off.
Yeah. Okay. And then if you get to 500K and you want to run, like if you're not growing a sports account or something, if you want to grow a page where you're going to sort of extract more on it, then you can just convert to a broader niche once you're bigger and then just gain that way too. Like don't be afraid to convert if the page is going to be used to just sell a ton of ads on or to post a ton of clips on.
Awesome. So another thing to think about, I guess, is that if you have like a general niche meme page, right? And then you have like, it's got like 2 mil followers. And then you have a page that's in like the startup or like AI niche with good content and good branding that's got like 250 to 500K followers. Like that page could low-key be worth more than the 200.
Oh, it's worth way more. It's worth way more. The meta's changed so much because if you're going to grow a page and your goal is to post OF ads, it's the easiest way to get to like 100 or 200,000 a year. But beyond that, then you really nerf the growth of the page. So if that's going to be your strategy, then you should run like a very much dual pronged strategy where over here you have like your extraction. So you just grow the pages that gain the fastest and then just spam the ads or like whatever's paying the most. But whatever's paying the most, like there's yin and there's yang. So whatever's paying the most is likely going to hurt the page. Like there's a reason that it pays so much because other people don't want to post it. And so when doing that, you should be cognizant of the fact that like this page isn't necessarily going to be worth a ton going forward. So then over here, you're growing like your AI or your tech or even like streamer clips is like super lucrative, like very, very niche accounts that are worth a lot. And so then over here you have your income and then over here you have your exit. And then if you balance those two things, dude, you're going to be a fucking millionaire.
No, I love that. Another thing I wanted to ask, meta at the moment. So I remember there was like the surgical videos meta. That feels like a few months ago.
Yeah, bro.
And then
I grew that account.
Yeah, that was you. That was
followers.
You. And then now like news posts. I swear news post is such a meta right now.
Yeah. But I don't see that going anywhere though. That's another thing that's crazy valuable is like any sort of news page. So if you're like a sports account posting news, if you're a tech account posting news, AI news, like even just years from now in the politics niche, and if you got them to like 1 million followers, you could command a lot of money at $1 million or 1 million followers.
We actually have someone in our network that has like a 13 mil like pure political net, and they have like both right and left.
No way.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Can't remember his name off the top of my head, but we definitely want to get some propaganda, election campaigns running eventually. That'd be quite funny.
Yeah, dude, it's good money. For sure. And yeah, I'm sure for you guys that will print. Like they're going to be, because by then this thing's going to be massive and you guys will have 1 million clients in that niche come election time. Right. I'm sure of it.
We might have to like make some of our clients a bit more brand safe to onboard those other guys, but yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, super.
Yeah, you should create I'm reading the comments. You should create a political page. If you're posting more than 3 times a day and it says your account doesn't follow guidelines, it depends. Either you're getting nerfed because you're posting too quickly. So you should always leave 5 minutes at minimum. I try to do 10 minutes between posts. Second is if you're doing duplicate content, you need to like edit the content a little bit. So like at a fucking minimum, you need to be like saving the video and then like cropping it and recaptioning it yourself. If it's a video that you can invert, then I would invert it. If it's a video where the audio doesn't matter, you could speed it up like 1.1x. People put filters on, people add like logos, people do like all sorts of stuff to sort of get around the duplicate content stuff. But yeah, there's like a million ways. Like you can just speed up the end of the video a ton. There's so many things that you can do.
Damn, that's actually high value. We need to like incorporate that into our guides, like the true niche stuff that people should be doing. Because like a lot of these campaigns are like it's just reposting content, right? But if you have that little like thing that's gonna get you the extra 10%, it'll compound.
Yeah, bro, 100%, 100%.
What's your thoughts on like, let's say like logo campaigns and clipping campaigns in general? Because I think that if you're going to start a new page, you really shouldn't do you shouldn't do any ads and like until a certain point, until you have a certain motion. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I agree. To be fair though, I think it depends on where you're at in your journey, because like if you're a dude who has some money, or a girl who has some money, and you don't necessarily like need the money right away, then I don't think there's any reason to start doing logo campaigns or to start monetizing the page too early. Because even with the most like clean logo campaigns, you might nerf your growth a little bit, maybe. I mean, I've seen people that don't, but you might. But if you need the money, then like at like 100K or something, like once your account's moving, I would start adding them. But if you're at like 10,000 followers or something, granted, this is all niche dependent. So like if you're a sports account and you're at like 10,000 followers, that's very small. But if you're like a Luke Belmar Clips account and you're at 10K, you're pretty big, honestly.
That's true, yeah.
So yeah, but I think that it just depends on like how much do you need the money. And if you don't really need the money, I'd wait longer. Yeah. But I guess you wouldn't be adding a logo to a Luke Belmar Clips account, but you could monetize in other ways.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, you could do like a Briz Scales campaign and grow an account just by posting Briz content, which is pretty viral.
Yeah, well. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's like we have a poker campaign right now. It requires a logo. So I guess what people should be doing is kind of getting the page off the ground and then kind of joining the campaign and getting the logo running. Because then they can actually build a page up in the poker niche. Yeah.
Well, and a lot of the algorithm standing stuff from Instagram is like, if you start an account, the way that account starts matters in terms of like how much Instagram's going to allow it to grow. And then once a page is growing and it's aged and it's been there for a little bit longer, the restrictions on said account aren't as heavy. But if like for your very first post you're throwing like a fucking logo on it, like that's not smart, because Instagram's on high alert like right when an account is created.
Dude, I wonder if they'll crack down on like logos. They obviously have the metadata and they know what's going on in the videos, but like
I think they've nerfed like some of the casino, like they nerfed Rainbat on videos but then not on pictures.
Interesting.
I don't know. I think that the way that they view these things kind of is that it feels like historically they'll try and like stop a trend. And then like once it loses momentum, then they don't really care that much about like policing it. Like I think they care more to like nerf something once, and then they're not looking at like every little casino that's running logo campaigns. Like I think that they just wanted to nerf Rainbat because Rainbat was fucking everywhere. Well, before them was Stake, but
I wonder what will happen like 1 to 2 years down the line when like the volume going through clipping is like getting pretty decent, because that's like directly hurting like Meta's bottom dollar. I wonder if there's a potential future where Promote can become the organic ads platform and Zuck comes and cease and desist us to death or buys us out. Who knows?
That would be sick. I mean, I think that the saving grace as far as that stuff goes is that like the level to which Zuck or whatever the dude's name that owns Instagram is can be authoritarian is directly proportionate to the amount of leverage they have as far as like the market goes. So if you don't have TikTok and you don't have X pushing short form, you don't have even like Snapchat pushing short form and all these competitors that are pushing short form, like pre-TikTok era, they can be quite authoritarian. But suddenly then the competition creeps in, and then they're like, okay, maybe we have to make the feed a little bit better, because these other guys, like, what ultimately does push daily active users on an app is like people being addicted to watching the videos on the app. So you need people that are pumping out high quality content. And if you have a platform that is properly incentivizing people to pump out high quality content and your platform isn't, likely more high quality content is going to be pumped out on the other platform. So for Instagram to like crack the fuck down on like the short form stuff, I feel like it only works if both Twitter and TikTok and maybe even Snapchat, like everyone else who's competing, also cracks down. And I don't think that they would, because they're all competing for users. So I think like the saving grace for people like us is that like these guys are competing to have us on their platform, because they do want people that are pumping out fucking Brez Scales clips, because some people go on short form and they want to see Brez Scales clips. That's why they're going on.
Super interesting perspective. And I think it's something we've seen with TikTok. Like the amount of value that TikTok provides to its users, like the affiliate stuff on TikTok Shop, the creativity programs, all of these different things, like the marketplaces they have on there, like they're really leading edge for like how do we incentivize users to grind. And like the TikTok Live as well, like that's like levels above Instagram Live, and you can earn money from it, and like
dude, it almost feels like TikTok was reverse engineered for the creator, and like that is sort of the framework through which TikTok was built. Like that's just from the user perspective, the nuanced user perspective, because I grew up Pages too. That's what it feels like to me. Versus Instagram, it feels like they like cling to this sort of like archaic, like for the user perspective. But I think that they're realizing that they've been losing in that regard, because people don't really like, dude, I don't go on Instagram to see what my peers are posting. Like, to be entirely honest, like I don't really care. And I don't think that people are posting frequently enough for like the average person. Like you don't go on Instagram and it's like all your boys from high school are like throwing up posts every fucking day. Like that's not what you're looking at. You're looking at like news and like whatever's on your feed, whether it's like sports, watches, business reels, like fucking funny stuff, politics, like whatever's on your, like that's what you're looking at. So I feel like Instagram has been forced to play like ball that TikTok pretty much initiated. And now they don't really have another option.
They like upgraded their feed. I feel like Instagram is like it's like Reels plus stories plus Reels. You check people's stories and then you go on Reels, and there's like a feed post every once in a while, like every couple days. Crazy. What's your thoughts like as kind of a big dog in the meme page space? What's your thoughts on kind of the recent evolution of clipping and CPM deals? And I mean, let's say like you were back like in your 16-year-old self and you were coming up with all of these clipping campaigns that are available. Like, what would your mindset be?
I think that as far as like confidence in clipping from a macro viewpoint, I would be very confident. The reason for that being that when you're in Instagram as a page owner or as a business owner, and you're sort of in this organic world, you likely don't realize like how much money on a CPM basis these companies are paying to target certain niches. Like it's incredibly expensive, and it's likely only going to get more expensive. And for a lot of niches, you can't target people at all. So anything to do with like gambling, anything to do with not like OF, but like likely prediction markets, like all of these like gray area things can't be marketed through traditional platforms. So the only way that these things are going to be marketed is via short form and via the organic account owners and the people that own businesses like you do, that sort of provide the gateway to the people that know how to do this. And so I would say that I feel extremely confident in the future. And if I was 16 right now and I was starting up and it was right now, I would be obsessed with short form Like I would be producing short form myself. I would be editing all different types of short form. I would be trying to figure out like every niche detail of the entirety of short form, because that's like 100% the future. Until AI and like wearable or whatever the fuck comes along. But like for now, like that is the future.
I understand. I mean, this call has even made me want to start growing a page. But like,
dude, I started growing more pages again for fun.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, anyone in this call, like, you really should be like grinding an Instagram page. And Drew talked about scale.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a volume game with the new feed. Just getting like as many posts out as you can, I guess, per day once you kind of warm the account up into that.
Yeah. And they just had to be formatted right. So like if you go, like my biggest thing when I was starting, to give like very niche advice that would maybe help like 10% of you, but it will help you a lot, is I would get obsessed with like what other people were doing. And so I came in Instagram and I was like, okay, I'm buying shout outs. So I was just obsessed with like going through all the accounts that every account was following and like looking at all the recommended pages and trying to figure out like what the new accounts were. And then, this guy owns all of these accounts and this guy is posting these ads for these accounts. And like, this is what the ad looks like. And like, okay, if this account pops up, like I can probably figure out who owns this based off of like, I was obsessed with like the people that were running the game. And so if you were going to pop off right now trying to grow Instagram pages or just in short form, all like I would not even pay attention to like your personal social media feed. I would just immerse yourself in the fucking world that is short form or is Instagram pages or whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether it's like business short form. Like get familiar with all of the top guys there. Like go through and look at who they're following, find every fucking account, like start to figure out who owns the different pages, because more times than not, it's like one guy that owns like 10 of these fucking pages, or like I'm sure that one dude owns like a large portion of the bread scales clipping accounts even, and attack it that way where you just get obsessed.
In the trenches, knowing what's going on, kind of figuring out like...
in the trenches, bro.
He runs this. And then if you find like, you know, if you know like the pages that Text Post owns, for example, like that's someone to watch.
Yeah.
That guy's gonna like, he's gonna pioneer trends, you know? And then it's like, all right, bet I can fucking grow to 100K with this new format that's ripping, and then boom, you have a new cash flowing asset just like that.
And people are gonna get pissed. Like, I don't really give a fuck, because in my mind, I've sort of graduated from Instagram. And so like, I don't care if they ban me from like chats, but I was talking about this on TikTok and they like banned me from the main chat because they don't want people actively watching like their pages. But like, I don't give a fuck.
I remember
so like that is what I used to do, is like, I would get obsessed with like Photoshop Pranked is probably like too washed, and I just keep using him as an example. Like I would never watch him because he's too washed, but like I would watch a good page owner and I'd see the new pages that they're growing, like, oh, they're using this caption, they're using this style of text on the top of the post, they're posting this many times per day, like this is where it looks like they're sourcing the content from. And you sort of figure out all these aesthetic things, and then once you start to put the puzzle pieces together, then all you have to do is just fucking act.
Yeah.
But like, what to do is sitting right in front of you. You just have to identify who the players are to copy. He hates Photoshop Prank or something.
But there's some haters out there. Okay, someone asked, what car do you drive? That's a good question.
I drive an all black Audi RSQ8.
Fire. Let's see let's see the watch on your wrist.
I have a couple APs. This one's gold. It's a Royal Oak.
Guys,
it's pretty clean.
Grind your fucking meme pages, all right? Drew was out here.
Yeah, bro. Like
it's pages at 16, and now he's got a fucking gold AP on the wrist.
Yeah.
Motivation, boys.
No, but for real though, like if you commit to growing pages, or you commit to clipping, or you commit to any sort of internet money game, the only people that I have seen not make it, like, dude, I know a lot of fucking millionaires off of Instagram. The only people that I have seen that haven't made it are the guys that just kind of like flip from thing to thing to thing, and they never commit to one thing for long enough. Like if you commit to one thing for long enough, you will end up being a fucking millionaire. And I've literally had this like exact talk with one of my buddies who just became a millionaire last year, one of my buddies who became a millionaire like 4 years ago, one of my other buddies who became a millionaire like 6 years ago. Like it feels like such an abstract concept when you're starting, but if you literally just put one foot in front of the other like every single fucking day and just grind like one thing or grind a natural progression of things and don't have shiny object syndrome, you will 1000% make it.
100%. I feel like we all know like those people that's just like every time you like talk to them, they're starting something new.
Yeah.
It's like when I met him,
bro,
he was doing this. And then while I've known him, he did this, he did this, he did this, he did this.
Yeah.
So funny. Okay.
Like, dude.
Go ahead.
I know a guy who grew sports accounts at the same time as me, kind of like stopped. He grew like a general niche account, and then he started like an American, like a Southern, like I Love America sort of niche clothing brand. The dude is a multimillionaire now just off of his like USA clothing brand. Wow. Multi-millionaire, just because he stuck with it for like 8 years. And like if you told me back then that he was just starting like a brand that had like American flags and shit on it, I would have been like, there's no way that works. But then fast forward, like he just fucking stuck with it.
Insane, bro. So one question, he says, where is a good place to hire people for meme page managers? Interested to hear your opinion on that.
I think that it depends on what you're going to ask of them. And so if you're going to handle the content creation or you're going to do a really, really good job training, you can go on places like onlinejobs.ph and you can hire sort of people that you're not going to have to pay as much. If you want them to be able to handle a significant amount of the editing off rip and you're willing to pay more, I would just hire someone out of the Instagram community if you guys are in those chats. A middle ground would be to hire someone that you know and to pay them like a fair amount of money because they'll likely learn faster. But like to do it at scale though, you basically need to be someone that is very good at training people and has a system to train people, and then hire onlinejobs.ph. And you're going to have to go through separate people because a lot of them aren't going to be that good, but you'll find one good person and then they'll have friends, and then you sort of scale it out that way. But yeah, but you have to be dedicated though. Like you have to create a proper training. You can't just be like, hey man, you're going to post content like this 20 times per day, use fucking InShot and like a TikTok downloader on Telegram. Here you go. Like obviously that's not going to work. You're going to have to like go on video calls with them and show them exactly what to do and explain how everything works. But yeah.
Okay. And, I mean, I definitely agree. Fuck, there was a point I had, but I forgot. Someone asked a good question about cross-posting. If I run a rap meme page on Instagram, as an example, should he be cross-posting it to TikTok, YouTube, and X? Or should you stay locked in and kind of like, instead of like having a bunch, just like lock in on one thing and really perfect it and grow that?
That's a nuanced question, because if you're growing, like if I'm growing at like, let's say I had at basketball, right? If I'm growing at basketball, I 1000% want to be cross-posting because I'm building IP and I'm going to try to exit this page.
The brand.
If I'm just building like, yeah, exactly. Like you're building up the brand. If I'm just building like haunted ghost clips, and I don't necessarily have a plan in order to monetize that page on other platforms, I wouldn't worry about it. But like on X, for example, you can get paid for views. Pretty standard. So I would potentially cross-post there if you think that it will do well. On Facebook, like if you do like a little bit of research, you can get accepted, or there's ways to like make your account more likely to get offered into their little like monetization programs. So if you have the access to do that, or if you're willing to do like an hour of research, then I would potentially cross-post there. But if you're literally just like cross-posting on YouTube Shorts or Facebook just for the sake of cross-posting, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because like a YouTube Shorts account isn't really going to sell for anything. You'd be better off spending the extra time. What is that, Kev? You'd be better off just spending the extra time to grow multiple pages on Instagram, because those can actually sell for something, and you sort of have a clearer plan as far as like the monetization goes on those pages.
Yeah, and you're like not spreading yourself too thin. But if you're going for like the legacy play of like, you know, same at on all accounts, like proper branding, maybe you want to do like whatever, I think it makes sense. I saw another good question, which was, let's say you're starting a political page from scratch. What would just be like 3 pieces of advice for that?
If you're starting a political page from scratch, so first and foremost, the aesthetic of the account definitely matters. So you don't want like a period. If you're going to put a period in the username, put it like in the middle between 2 words. Try to pick like conservatives clipped or like something like that sort of has like a decent ring to it and looks clean. The bio matters. It should be clean. It should be like the conservative movement lives here, or like posting conservative clips daily, something along the lines of that. The logo should be like a clean looking vector. If you guys just look up and if you look at other accounts, you'll be able to see. That's the first piece of advice. The second piece of advice is volume matters. And so if I'm posting 20 times per day, the goal of doing that is that eventually one video is going to hit. And when one video hits, it sort of recalibrates the floor of the other videos. And so you need one video to hit for like all of your stuff to start to hit. Like on one of my accounts that I'm not going to dox, I posted something last night. I woke up today and it has like 1.7 mil views or something on it. But like as a result of this post ripping, and this is like just like a fun project thing, that's why I don't really want to dox it. But as a result of that post ripping, all of my other posts also started to rip. And so I checked, and this post that had like 1,200 views yesterday now has like 40 something thousand views. And so like you need the one to hit, and then everything else hits. But if you're only posting 5 lottery tickets a day and your odds of hitting the lottery are at 10%, like you're only at 50%, versus if I'm posting 20 lottery tickets a day at 10% odds of hitting, I'm at 200%. So I'm bound to hit twice. So, and I'm not saying that your odds of going viral are 10% because it varies niche to niche, but you need volume. And then the third thing is that the posts should be formatted in a way that you have seen working. So if you haven't seen something working, why would you expect it to work? Like sometimes people are fucking retards and they're like, oh, like I just want to get into like clipping. And they just think that it's like this thing and they're just gonna like start posting clips. And it's like, bro, why the fuck do you even expect that to work? Like you need to look at what someone else is doing and just fucking copy it. And then when you copy it, then you can start to assess like the variables that are making the difference, because then you can kind of start to like tweak things. But even if you're looking at something that someone else is doing, you're like, I like this, but I don't like this, but I've never done this before. That's fucking retarded. Because you've never done it before. So you don't know the variables that actually matter and that actually move the needle. Like if I told you that I was gaining 50,000 followers a day and ended up making $500,000 profit, basically like what gained half the followers was like a video that was edited of how a lock works. You'd be like, bro, like this dude is on ayahuasca, shrooms, like every fucking psychedelic known to man at the same time talking to me right now. But that quite literally is what happened. And so as dumb as that sounds, you need to sort of experience the posting and experience like the day-to-day of running these pages to really understand the nuance of like the caption really does work. Or like the formatting of the post, like that top text, if I change like a couple words, I gain half the followers. Or to get my first video to hit, it had to be formatted this way. And the reason that my first 200 didn't hit was because I didn't format it according to the way that someone else before me had formatted a post successfully.
Dude.
That was kind of a long-winded answer, but I think that's important.
No, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. And also I think that, you know, if you're only running pages and you're only joining campaigns with them, I think that's kind of an L mindset. I think that everyone should have a page that is, you know, their growth engine, or like you said, you know, you separate the income pages over here and then you have a page that you're building up in a good niche that has good branding, and you actually do like good captions with correct English. You make it nice and coherent and shit like that. And then you build this page up. It's your project. You're not doing ads on this page, because as soon as you do clipping, unless it's like a very, very subtle like audio campaign, or you happen to find a campaign that has content that aligns with your niche, it's just like harming the page in a way. So I think like everyone should be like, have a max growth page where it's like, I don't do campaigns on this page. This is my baby, and I'm going to grow to 1 mil and beyond. And then you're also doing your income on the sides. I think that's great.
1000%.
Well, this is making me think as well, is like there's so many nuanced things. Like honestly, like I don't have too much experience like grinding pages, but there's so many things like you talked about the speeding up at the end of the videos and like all this shit that people just don't know, but it's like super, super high value as well. So I think we need to make some better guidance on that type of stuff.
Yeah. Instagram, like success with building pages is largely just how much attention can you pay to the small details of what the people that are winning are doing. Because they're doing like very specific things that make a night and day difference between an account being successful or not. Like the top text on a video, you could have the same viral video, but one could be stuck in like 2023 and say like, or 2024 or whenever Dylan and Textpost came up with this, where it's like, if only the yada yada yada. And then one is like the kind of the current meta, which is like that like Twitter screenshot where it has like the username with like the logo, the same way that it's formatted on X, because that's what people are using right now.
Yeah.
That works well. And then it changes. So, yeah. Just attention to detail. You just have to care like 10% more.
Okay, Drew, I think we'll wrap this up. I mean, I really appreciate it. Some super high value insights. I'm using Loom, so we get a transcript. We can kind of bullet point some of the points we went over. Before we go, is there any last questions you want to cover up? I know if I'm scroll up in the chat, there's a few decent ones. I guess we can answer like one more and then we'll hop off.
Yeah, just ask away. I can do.
Let's see. Okay, this is an interesting one.
I appreciate the W's.
Can we post the same video on different Insta pages? I think I have a clear answer in my head, but I want to hear this from you.
I mean, you can, but you'd want to slightly change it. So like even on the same page, if you have a video that goes really viral, you can resave it and you can put a different top text on it, and then you can repost it and it will likely hit. And if you do get hit with the duplicate content warning, then it's not going to remove the original one. It's only going to remove the new one. So you don't necessarily have any, like you're not risking your original post that went really viral. You can do it on other pages, but you need to re-edit it and resave it. So it's not the exact same metadata. Okay. Because if you do the exact same metadata, then you're asking for a duplicate content warning, which is fine. But
that makes sense. So reuse the winners, but change it up.
Yeah.
All right, boys, go and join Drew's Telegram channel. He drops value in there. Give him a follow on IG. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. I know it's early. I mean, that was a pretty insane call. That got my mind moving a lot on kind of the. We need to level up the
education. I appreciate that. Thank you, boys. This was a good one.
Hey, thank you so much, Drew. I really, really appreciate it.
All right, cheers. Have a good one.
All right, much love. Bye-bye.